Welcome to this week's Class Talks, and we're going to be focusing on sports marketing. And one of the big New Zealand attractions here in Auckland, which is the All Black Experience in Sky City on Federal Street. A fantastic attraction themed on the New Zealand All Blacks, the well-known international rugby team or national rugby team that's so successful. We had a chance to, as a team with Daryl, to go to the All Black Experience, and we're going to talk about it from a marketing perspective, from the marketing principles perspective. What is the product? What's the promotion of it, or how is it promoted? The pricing. We all had a comment around the pricing, right? And the place where it's based. Where it's offered. So, Daryl, let's welcome on board to Class Talks, the new student catered podcast that we're doing to talk about our contents on our courses. Daryl, how you doing, bud?
Oh, I'm good, thanks, mate. Good. Yeah.
You enjoyed it. You really liked the All Black Experience yesterday.
Oh, I really enjoyed it, man. It was one of those things that you don't really know what you're going to get until you get it, because it's as you're saying, it's quite a complex one to market, quite a complex one to sell, because like, how do you sell an experience, and that's, they title the event the All Black Experience, and that's literally what they're what the product is the experience of being an All Black. It's what I found anyway. So no, it was cool. I really enjoyed it.
So yeah, so did I. I really loved it. But this first comment that you're making at it's how do you market it? It's really hard to define. Is I think the first challenge posed to our students in the sense that, hold on a second, if you're creating a product in the sporting realm or in any business realm, you have to be able to describe your product well. And would we say that the All Black Experience as a business is hitting a single, a double, a triple, a home run, or are they kind of striking out in actually being able to define their product?
From a marketing perspective?
Yeah, from a marketing perspective.
Yeah, no, good question. I think, I think from a marketing perspective, the company is probably just getting off the ground. I must say, maybe heading into first base, because for one, like as a sporting organization too, and sporting company, and like a school of sport inside a big institute, not a lot of my colleagues knew anything about it, or understood what it was about, or understood much about it going into it. So it actually brings up a good case study, and so we're all sports enthusiasts, and yet it was hard to kind of define what it was we were walking into. So yeah, a little bit hard to define, but long way to go. And I think it's a really good opportunity for them for us to be able to dissect it, so we can kind of look at the ins and outs of it, right?
Exactly, and this is where we want to go. And in this kind of experiment that we're doing with the All Black Experience, from a learning point of view, we got to place ourselves as students, or sorry, as customers, or as clients of this product, and we aren't clear of what this product is going to be. Now, it's not our responsibility to actually have that clarity. That's part of the business, to be able to describe the product that's being offered nice and clearly. And the analogy that I like to use is, when you go to McDonald's, what product do you get, Daryl?
We get a burger.
You get a burger. Can you describe the burger for me?
Oh, it's okay. So it's got sauce, it's got buns, it's got meat. But it's the same every time, right?
Yeah, it's the same every time. And we know that it will have buns, and we know that we have a bun in the bottom, one on the top. We have the meat in the middle. We know that we're not going to get two buns and the meat on top. We know how that product is. We have a clear image of that product, and that's because an organization like McDonald's has created a clear definition of that product that's in the mind of the client and customer. Now, we have to kind of unpack this a little bit back. Who is the business owner here? Who is the business? Is it New Zealand Rugby, or is it a tourism organization that's organizing that? And that's the invitation to go discover. go discover of who's put this business together. Has it been New Zealand Rugby or has it been a tourism organization? That's the first question that we'll leave you as students to discuss, find out. But secondly, if it is New Zealand Rugby, the reason that this product exists, the New Zealand experience, the All Black experience at Sky City, it's because there is a main product that has had all our attention, and that would be what's that main product in New Zealand Rugby that has all of our attention from the sporting world?
All Blacks.
The All Blacks. So when we define the product All Blacks that we sell to Sky Sport, that we sell to the international television networks, we sell a winning team that plays rugby, not hockey, rugby, right? And that you have to stage them in certain type of stadiums, etc. We know the product. Now, when we're defining this All Black experience as a product that's based again in Auckland City at Sky City, is that independent product or is that a dependent product of a main one? If you don't have the All Blacks, this All Black experience doesn't exist, right? And this is really important for us to get our head around, because what happens if the All Blacks go down the drain in the next World Cup? What happens to the $15 million investment at Sky City of this All Black experience? Is it really up there? So when you develop a product, we really need to see how we can create sustainability. And the first sustainability is about the definition of that product, the All Black experience. What is it? So my impression, and I know you've traveled, you've taken your kids to the amusement parks. It's a little bit like an attraction for me. I felt it was an attraction. If I'm a tourist, it's a must go for any tourist that comes to New Zealand.
Yeah, you know, for me, being at the All Blacks experience, because you're right, it's quite a fragile platform to be laying it onto the All Black experience. Without the All Blacks, the experience falls on its face. But what if the All Blacks run out of favor with people, you know? So you know what for me, what it really encompassed, though, it encompassed what it's like to be a New Zealander. Good, because rugby is a big part of New Zealand heritage, and rugby is a big part of New Zealand history. And for me, that experience was, you know, and touched on some of those mechanisms as well. You know, when we were growing up, and even what kind of resonated with me as well with the video, you know, like when you go in there and you look at the grassroots version of rugby, and how it stemmed from that, and just the commitment that thousands of hours of volunteers just put into the rugby game over the year. And because that's not about being an All Black necessarily, or even aspiring to being an All Black. It's that's just about, for me, that's about being a Kiwi. That's what we do. You know, like
I felt identified with that. I felt really identified with that.
So that resonated with me. So I think even if the All Blacks weren't the product, I think if you were to identify as being a Kiwi or understanding the culture of New Zealand, then that product also tapped into that too. You know, that being the All Black experience, I suppose it's like when you're learning Te Reo Māori, you can't learn Te Reo Māori without the tikanga. You know, so you can't learn about the All Black experience unless you learn what it's like to be a New Zealander. You know, and that's what resonated with me. So yeah.
So probably a bit of prep work into New Zealand, or what it is to be New Zealand. What does rugby mean to New Zealand? Can help define that product of what is the All Black experience.
Yeah.
Now, like I mentioned, and I agree with you, that would be to cater and to actually be to a market segment, which could be the New Zealand family, because I felt rarely represented, but I haven't taken my family there. But like I mentioned, is that this is a must see for any person that comes into the country as a tourist. You have to go to this. But that's a different market segment. That's the tourist segment. So to get the right segment, we need to know obviously how we are marketing the product, defining the product, but the other P's that are important are how we're promoting it and how we're pricing it. And when we came out of the All Black experience, there was an immediate reaction that we had as teams of the school, as a team of school sport, as staff members, with regards to the price? What do we say?
Well, you're in there for 45 minutes, right? It's a
Yep.
45-minute tour, and the cost for adults to get in is $45. Depending on whether you're aged a little bit older or a little bit younger, the price varies. And if you're a school kid, becomes young, even cheaper still. So we'd
But as
say
a
like about a
but it's
dollar a
cheap.
minute
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah, it's $1 a minute.
Mm,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, as a family, if you were taking your family, how much would you be spending roughly on this 45-minute experience?
Oh, well, I've got two young girls who probably wouldn't get into this anyway, so I'd leave them at home. So there'd be three of us at max. So what's that, 135 bucks or something?
Yep. And what do you think twice about it?
Going in? Yeah,
Yep.
probably.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. On a budget, you'd probably think about it. Yeah, you'd think about it.
And this
Going
is
in,
going in, and this is something that's really important in today's day and age when we're thinking of sport marketing and sport as a business. That what are the multiple channels of income that you have through the services and products that you are providing your different market segments? Because you might be blocking out a key market segment that will not be able to experience that because of pricing. And maybe you're just capturing an international audience that are used to go when you go overseas, spending this kind of money on these type of attractions. But how do you create greater value for the ticket price that you are paying? And this is where our value creation canvas becomes really important as a piece that we need to consider. Um, one of the comments that I made when we walked out and we were talking about the price is, man, after running around a little bit at those last 10-15 minutes, I actually would want to buy myself a drink. I couldn't buy myself a drink, but options were there to buy, for example, all black rugby shirts, right? So the ticket price item that was available for me was $30 and over. The jerseys were $95. There wasn't anything ticket price handy and available to create a greater value creation to the experience at a lower price to capture your audience. You already have your market right there with you. So where can you create greater value to up the ticket price, up the price of what you're getting for the person that has already walked into your business? So let's think of this as an analogy, team. When you pump fuel into your car, you go there to pump fuel. That's the reason why you went to the petrol station. You pumped fuel, then you go in to pay your fuel, and what's readily available for you when you are about to pay for your fuel? What do you usually find there, Daryl?
food, snacks,
Yeah,
drinks,
gum, right?
pies.
Exactly. Easily accessible. And we usually, I'll be honest, I usually get something on top of my petrol. And that's an up ticket to what you actually purchased already. That's where sporting organizations, and Americans do this very well, they actually give you more value for money because you've already done the effort to be there. Another possibility is the waiting area. How do you address the waiting area? Because you're going to have people waiting in the waiting area for a prolonged time to give them more value for that experience. So how many portraits were there available for people to take photos in the waiting
Quite a
area?
few, eh? Quite a few. Oh, portrait, not. I mean, there's some photos up there with the All Blacks, but you can take photos on them, and there's some,
but
and there's some canvas, but not
but it was
one-on-ones.
basically one, right? Basically one where
Mm-hmm.
you can actually put your head in
Yeah.
and you become an All Black.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have 2 or 3 groups waiting, and each group is because they said that they could take groups up to 26 people, and this is where you have to think of the product and how you promote your product.
Yep.
You might have 26 people waiting there. How do you start creating that
Engage
experience
them.
and promote the experience that they're going to have even further when you already have the space?
Mm-hmm.
And this we can take, team, to how we market our sporting events, the stadium. people have already gone to the game, but how do you extend the game experience? What else do you offer in the surroundings of the stadium to enhance that experience that the spectator is going to have, that person that's spending money on sport is going to have? All right. Another good analogy to make here is those people that buy the expensive road bikes. They buy an expensive road bike and they buy all the gear and the lycra that goes with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The added value to it. It's not just riding on the bike as a bike, it's adding value to it. So we've talked about the product, the importance of the price for your correct market segmentation. How are we promoting it? And what did you take out of the promotion? How are they promoting it?
Well, they have a sales manager, and the sales manager's job is to bring people in. As far as what I got from it, I've seen them pop up since yesterday when we went on Facebook, but
Yeah.
as an algorithm, I think you get it because you've been there, sort of thing,
Yeah.
right? So, but prior to that, I didn't really see anything much else, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
So the exposure could be better because there was very limited, there's a very limited push in your face kind of exposure to it, and even explaining to our team, as I was saying, not many people knew the place existed until much before yesterday.
Yeah, but it was interesting that they are promoting it to educational institutions. The reason why they
Yes,
invited us
yes,
to it,
and they do have
because
resources. Yeah,
they're doing resources, and they're also
yep.
creating packages with a discount
Looks like
for
this.
education.
You
Yep,
see it?
for educational
Something like that.
institutions. Yeah, so that is now the approach that they're using, and obviously our borders are closed at the moment, so they need to find a different segment. And apparently now they're bundling. They're using
Yeah.
a bundling approach to the promotion of the All Black experience. And now let's talk about the place where it is, where it's set.
I think the place is ideal. I think the place is ideal because it's in the middle of town. Um, that's the center of pretty much of tourism in New Zealand, in Auckland anyway.
Yep.
And close to Britomart, the bus stops go straight to the location, just off parallel to Queen Street. So I think location is ideal. Location is ideal to bring people in. The problem being is parking, right? If you're bringing
Good
a
one.
group of people in for vans and whatever, the Sky City car park can't take vans, so you'd have to kind of find your alternative location to park and then walk kids up if they're pitching this to school groups. Otherwise, otherwise your parking is pretty limited and can be costly, I suppose, depending on how many vehicles you bring in.
So notice, team, that your place is also significant to the market segment, to the people that you are attracting. So they're now bundling and offering this experience as an educational package to schools, but there's a limitation with the place because of, for example, parking and not being able to access vans to the parking. Though it's in central Auckland in terms of tourism, in an ideal place because it's in the epicenter of New Zealand and Auckland tourism at the Sky City. What did caught my attention is that I knew that it was at Sky City, but I didn't know where in Sky City, and I needed to call you to ask how to get there. There wasn't being such a significant attraction with a $15 million investment. The place should be lit up. There should be signs on the street. There should be flags. This is the big major product that's being sold. So notice, if McDonald's was in a building at a street corner, but it didn't have the golden arcs of the M, would you actually be going to the McDonald's? Probably not. The location is very important for many attractions, for many services, where you have a lot of walk-through traffic and potential customers walking through. It's really important. But one thing is the location, but location has to come with visibility. And that increased visibility is probably another thing that we might want to consider. We hope that you have the experience of going to the All Black experience. and doing our activities with regards to the marketing analysis of this New Zealand product that is based as a dependent product from the New Zealand All Blacks. Anything else that you want to share with us as a closing, Daryl?
No. I just hope, yeah, as you're saying, I hope everyone gets a chance to experience it. It's pretty cool. It's quite a unique experience, whether you like rugby or not, to be honest. No, that's all good.
It's a fantastic experience. I fully recommend it. Though we've been critical from the marketing perspective and the educational perspective, as
That's
an
our job, right?
experience, you're gonna love it. It's emotional, it's entertaining. There's a lot of learning, and we won't tell you what happens, but your heart starts pounding at one point. All right, thanks for joining us on Class Talks this week, and thank you, Daryl, for joining us in looking at the All Black experience.
All right.
Take care. Bye.
Take care. Bye.